Chapter 13. The Indian Constitution. Reading objectives. Requirement of Constitution. Making of the Indian Constitution. Key features of Indian Constitution. Fundamental rights for Indian citizen. Fundamental duties of every citizen of India. Directive principles of state policy. A constitution is the system of laws and basic principles that a state, a country or an organization is governed by. The Constitution of India was adopted and enacted on the 26th of November 1949. However, it was enforced from the 26th of January 1950, and thus we celebrate the 26th of January as the Republic Day. Today most countries in the world have a constitution. While all democratic countries are likely to have a constitution, it is not necessary that all countries that have a constitution are democratic. The constitution serves several purposes. First, it lays out certain ideals that form the basis of the kind of country that we as citizens aspire to live in. Requirement of Constitution. While living in a society, one has to be disciplined, so that his actions do not harm other members of the society. Everybody living in a social setup has a right and duty. Rights can only be enjoyed when we take care of our duties. One who does not respect others' right and does not care for his duties, he is not entitled to any right himself. Suppose somebody harms you, the authorities, say the police or the court, is informed. The police will arrest the person who has done something against the law, and the court will decide his case in the light of law and punish him. Enrich yourself. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly this 26th day of November, 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. Preamble of the Constitution of India. Now think, would that if there been no law, and no police and no courts, how would the people's rights be taken care of, and how would the wrongdoer be punished? This makes the fact clear that we need laws or constitution to keep our society in order and prevent confusion and chaos. Making of the Indian Constitution. The Constitution of India was drafted over a period of about 3 years. The members of the Constituent Assembly of India met for the first time on the 9th of December 1946. The next meeting of the Assembly took place on the 14th of August 1947 for the Dominion of India, in which the proposal of forming various committees was presented. Such committees included the Committee on Fundamental Rights, the Union Powers Committee and Union Constitution Committee. One of the unique factors of the meeting was that the Assembly gathered as the Sovereign Constituent Assembly of India. On the 29th of August 1947, a drafting committee, with Dr. Ambedkar as the chairman, was formed on the basis of the various reports submitted by the previous committees. It was in the year 1948 that a draft constitution including a range of proposals was formed by the concerned committee. The Constituent Assembly of India held 2 meetings in February 1948 and October 1949 to go through the clauses of the draft. Finally, from 14th to 26th of November, 1949 the Constituent Assembly analyzed each and every provision of the draft. The then President of the Constituent Assembly of India signed the draft on 26 November 1949. Get to know more. The Constitution of India was adopted and enacted on the 26th of November 1949. However, it was enforced from the 26th of January 1950, and thus we celebrate the 26th of January as the Republic Day. Key features of Indian Constitution. 1. Federalism. This refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. In India, we have governments at the state level and at the center. Each state in India enjoys autonomy in exercising powers on certain issues. Subjects of national concern require that all of these states follow the laws of the central government. 2. Parliamentary form of government. The different tiers of government consist of representatives who are elected by the people. The Constitution of India guarantees universal adult suffrage for its entire citizen. This means that the people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives. These representatives are accountable to the people. 3. Separation of powers. According to the Constitution, there are three organs of the state. These are the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. 4. Fundamental rights. Fundamental rights protect citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of power by the state. In addition to fundamental rights, the Constitution also has a section called Directive Principles of State Policy. Fundamental rights for Indian citizen. Fundamental rights, as they sound, are the very basic rights that all the citizens must have. In fact, it is ensured by the government itself that no citizen is deprived of these rights. These are 6 major fundamental rights ensured under the Constitution, viz. 1. Right of equality. Under the head of right to equality, the following rights are granted. A. Equality before law. This means law is equal for all citizens of the nation and no one shall be discriminated in the court of law. B. Prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. C. Equal opportunity for all in matters of public employment. D. Abolition of the evils of untouchability, and A. Abolition of titles given by British rule on the basis of works of different types. 2. Right to freedom. This right allows freedom of speech, protection of life and personal liberty, right to education etc. The right of speech can be used within limits. A person cannot speak anything he wishes without verification. Whatever one speaks can harm any other person's reputation. 3. Rights against exploitation. The right prevents trafficking of human beings and forced labor. It states that immoral trafficking in human beings and beggars and similar other forms is an offense and is punishable under law. 4. Right to freedom of religion. India, being a secular country, respects all religions and ensures that anybody can embrace any religion as per one's wish, and there shall be no discrimination on ground of religion. 5. Cultural and educational rights. Right to follow one's own culture and right to education are essential features of a developing country. The Constitution envisages such rights to be most important rights for development of the nation. It is ensured by law that no one shall be denied admission in any educational institution on the basis of discrimination of caste, creed, sex, religion or language. 6. Rights to constitutional remedies. This states that Supreme Court shall have the power to undertake proceedings for enforcement of rights. It has the power to issue directions or orders or writs for enforcement of fundamental rights. Searching dictionary. Monopoly. The complete control of trade in particular goods or the supply of a particular service. Prohibition. The act of banning something being done or used. Integration. The act of combining two or more things. Communal. Involving a number of people in a community. Fundamental duties of every citizen of India. The Constitution of India says that it shall be the duty of every citizen of India, a. to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and national anthem, b. to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom, c. to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, d. to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so, a. to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, f. to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, g. to protect and improve the natural environment including forests, lakes, rivers and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. H. To develop the scientific temper, humanism and the spirit of inquiry and reforms. I. To safeguard public property and to abjure violence. And J. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. Directive Principles of State Policy. The directive principles of state policy constitute another distinctive feature of our Constitution. These principles embody certain ideals and objectives which should be kept in mind by the union and state governments while making laws and implementing policies. The implementation of these directives was not made compulsory due to the paucity of resources. Independence of the judiciary. Our Constitution has taken special care to establish an independent and impartial judiciary. The judges of the Supreme Court and the state high courts have been provided security of service. Official language. In a country like India, with diverse cultural traditions and languages, it is essential to declare one language as the national language, symbolic of the unity of the different regions of the country. The Constitution declares Hindi in Devanagari script as the official language of the country. Dissents and laws. A protest is a formal declaration of objection. When protest is political, it's also known as dissent. It is used especially as a non-violent and usually collective means of forcing government concessions and has been a major tactic of nationalist movements in Africa and India, of the US civil rights movement, and of labor and anti-war movements in many countries. Civil disobedience is a symbolic or ritualistic violation of the law, rather than a rejection of the system as a whole. Word to know. The Constitution of India was enacted on the 26th of January 1950. The Constitution of India was drafted over a period of about 3 years. On the 29th of August 1947, a drafting committee, with Dr. Ambedkar as the chairman, was formed on the basis of the various reports submitted by the previous committee. The first Constituent Assembly was elected in July-August 1946. Constitution was completed on the 17th of October 1949, passed on the 26th of November 1949 and adopted on the 26th of January 1950. The fundamental rights include right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, right to constitutional remedies, etc.